Good day and welcome to the news review on Unilag TV. For more than a century, International Women's Day has been observed as a tribute to the garment workers' strike in New York in 1909, where women demanded better working conditions and wages. Today, it has become a global celebration of women's social, economic, and cultural and political achievements. There has been progress in gender equality over the years, including voting rights, access to education, and increased representation in leadership roles. However, women continue to face challenges such as discrimination, harassment, and violence in their personal and professional lives. Other obstacles include the gender pay gap, limited access to healthcare, and underrepresentation in STEM fields. Despite all these challenges, women around the world continue to inspire us with their bravery, resilience, and accomplishments. From trailblazers like Kamala Harris, Mosumola Abudu, Funke Akindele, and Oprah Winfrey, to everyday heroes like Mrs. Jennifer Ifidi, who exercised her civil duty despite being assaulted during elections. Women have broken barriers and paved the way for more diversity and representation in various industries. On this day, we celebrate the achievement of women from the suffragette movement to modern day activism. This year's theme is Digital Innovation and Technology for Gender Equality with the hashtag Embrace Equity, highlighting the role of technology and bridging the gender gap. Let's honor these trailblazers, reflect on how far we've come, and work towards a more equitable and just future for all. To discuss this with me in the studio is an adjunct faculty at Enterprise Development Center who also is an adjunct faculty at School of Media and Communication, Pan-Atlantic University. We'll go on a quick break, and when we return, you'll meet my guest. My name is Vina Peters. We'll be right back. Welcome back. If you're just joining, it's still the news review on Unilag TV, and remember to follow us across all our social media platforms at Unilag on TV. Like I said earlier before I went on a break, we will be discussing the International Women's Day 2023 with the theme Digital Innovation and Technology for Gender Equality. And to do that, I have Helen Emore, an adjunct faculty at Enterprise Development Center, who is also an adjunct faculty at School of Media and Communication, Pan-Atlantic University. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you.
And let me be the first to wish you a happy International Women's Day.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so before we dive deep into the questions, what do you think about this year's theme?
What do I think about this year's theme? Well, it's interesting. Every year there's a theme for International Women's Day. But honestly, it doesn't mean anything to me because it's just one day out of 365 days.
Wow. Okay, because the theme says, that we'll be talking about innovation and technology for gender equality. Why innovation? Why technology? Is it that women are not in the space of technology, or is it that the men are holding us back?
Okay, so men are not holding women back. Rather, it's a personal choice and circumstances. There are a lot of privileged women. You are born into privilege, so you don't know that there are other women who are very disadvantaged, right? And because people are born into very challenging circumstances, they struggle to do a lot of things that a woman from a privileged background will do with ease. So the challenge, the big for me, this is my personal perspective, the challenge about women and equity has largely to do with social inequity. So you find that children who are from privileged backgrounds tend to have access to all the resources and platforms and information and opportunities at a very early age than children who are born into challenging circumstances. So the gender challenge has a strong correlation with economic circumstances. So when you hear women saying, oh, we want equity, we want equal opportunities, we want platforms, it's strongly correlated to economic challenges. For me, for more than 50 years of my life, I have never been disadvantaged. So I grew up looking at people who talk about gender issues as, what's wrong with them? What's all this noise about gender equality? Nobody has ever told me I couldn't do anything I wanted to do, because I come from some sort of privileged background. So I have access to everything. More than a lot of people who are disadvantaged. Children who have to wake up at 4 a.m., fetch water, go and sell food, and then come back and get ready for school. And then that child goes late to school and is dozing in class, and you're punishing the child, not knowing that this child had been up like 4 hours before their contemporaries, who just have to wake up at 7 o'clock and stroll to school. How do you want such a child to have access to technology when they don't even have access to power? They don't have access to writing materials, pen and paper, not to talk of computers or smartphones or internet. When we want to talk about equity issues, I think we should start from the economics of it. And therefore, my position is that every woman who has an opportunity should support another less privileged woman to be economically independent. Then we can have a more meaningful conversation about embracing equity in innovation and technology. So we need to go to the root cause.
Okay, let me leave disadvantaged women and let me move to advantaged women, those that haven't been disadvantaged before. How do you think, or what do you think technology and digital innovation have contributed to the gender equality? What has been the role?
Okay, so what technology has done for us is it has given us a platform to improve efficiencies across sectors, across industries. So whereas in the past, this 2023, in 1993, when I got admitted into Unilag for PG, postgraduate diploma in mass comm, right? Okay. There was no social media. There were no smartphones. There was no Instagram, no Facebook. Therefore, if you wanted to be a broadcaster or a journalist, you had to look for a platform with traditional media houses, so that you can get into the profession. Or you'd have journals full of stories and documentary articles, and then until one day luck smiles at you. But now you don't need those platforms. What technology has done for us is disintermediation. It has removed the barriers. It has removed middlemen between us and our audience. We now have what we call democratization of platforms. If I wake up today, I have good content, I start posting it on YouTube, I learn about digital marketing, I learn about social media management. In 1 year, chances are I would have strong followership, I would have been able to monetize that talent, and I would have a career, I would have built a career or a business around that talent. 30 years ago, it wasn't like that. Even 20 years ago, we didn't have all these platforms. So what technology has done for us, really, it has given us more opportunities and democratized access to platforms.
Okay, so how can these actually be used to address gender-based violence and discrimination amongst women?
Gender, in fact, it's already addressing it. Because now technology has given us access to information that used to be hidden. Now you find people having Instagram lives to stream engagements and information sharing opportunities. You have people creating channels on YouTube, on Facebook, even on LinkedIn, on TikTok, to share knowledge, to share information. You see people who are very, very active on LinkedIn, sharing information, sharing knowledge. In fact, what technology has done for us is democratize access to knowledge, to information, to platforms, to opportunities. So technology gives access to so many things. So if you can afford a device, you can afford data, then you really have very little excuse not to take advantage of opportunities in the ecosystem.
Okay, we know that in the year 2020 we had this pandemic, COVID-19, and everybody had to switch to technology. So, what do you think this pandemic has done, or would I say, as it's made or as it's marred us? Okay, when it comes to moving into digital literacy, what do you think this pandemic, or what has been the usefulness of this pandemic when it comes to digital literacy amongst our women?
It's like a two-sided sword. For those who could afford it, technology has improved access and created more opportunities for them. For those, again, who are at the bottom of the pyramid or economically disadvantaged, it has further widened the gap
Okay.
between them and the rest of society. Because for you to take advantage of technology and opportunities in technology, you have to have devices, you have to have data. You also need to be technology savvy. You need to know how to use the devices properly. Okay. And you need to also have the time.
That's another thing.
Right? So once all these things are in place, you actually have access to do so many things. You find 3-year-old children having their own platforms. You find adolescents having their own platforms. You find teenagers having their own platforms. I mean, there's this guy, the largest TikToker in the world, Kabil Lami. Oh, I can't remember his name, but I know it's Kabil Lami or something. The guy was a poor kid, and TikTok made him a multi-millionaire, and he's growing on that wing now. You also have people, other young people in Nigeria who are doing well, Success. Yes, Success, Mark Angel and Success. Those guys, they started as children making YouTube videos. And then, of course, you have so many others that I can't even mention here who grew on the back of technology. You have a lot of skit makers now.
Yeah.
Mr. Macaroni started from YouTube. So that technology just gives us so many opportunities. Let's talk about women. You see a lot of women who sell fashion items. They don't have adverts in newspapers. They don't do anything. They just put the adverts on Instagram. I have a food processing company. I've never had to advertise in any newspaper. All the awareness I created for my brand was done through social media. My son is 15 or so. He has his own Instagram page for his coding programs.
Okay.
So he teaches other children how to code. He advertises on Instagram. So technology gives us access. The only challenge is that it is skewed. So for me, what we need to be doing as a society is actually take care of people who are at the bottom of the pyramid. It's not just about women. It's about making sure that we can reduce the gap between the bottom of the pyramid and the middle class, if we still have it.
Okay, something came to my mind while you were talking just now, and that someone, or let me say, my mom's age mate, someone who is 55, probably 60, now, who didn't actually have all this internet in their days. And now, learning this is like a new field. And most times they are more like, "Ah, let me not do something and everything's going to spoil." And they really do want to do it, but they are scared. What do you think they can do for them to leave that zone? And and just say, okay, you know what? I think this thing I'm going to actually move with the tide. Let me just forget all these things I do know and move the way the society is moving. What do you think they should do? Because for me, I find it so challenging for that. And I'm like, no, this is
So how old do you think I am?
okay. I would say 55. Now, you said you were never disadvantaged. I want to believe that you had everything at your disposal.
I had enough to do
Exactly.
anything
Now,
I could do.
most women didn't have what you have. Like you said, some of them have to wake up 4 o'clock in the morning, go fetch water, and all those kind of things. And it's not because they do not wish to have them, or not because um, they actually cannot afford it, because their parents cannot even afford to give them what a child should have, but they are trying in their own little way. And they see other kids their age and like, okay, fine, these people really do have it all. And they strive, but they still cannot actually get it. So what should they do?
So the interesting thing about life is the world will always give way to the woman who knows where she's going. Women are a lot stronger than men, actually, if you reflect on it deeply. And I say this with every sense of respect. Women tend to be more tenacious. We tend to be more resilient. We tend to have more grit than men. Because we are passionate about the things we love to do and the things we want to do. And we want the best for our families. Whether it is the woman who is frying akara on the road, or the woman who is roasting bolly, or the one who goes to the farm, or the nurse who goes on night duty and comes back home at 4 a.m. to prepare her children for school before going back to work because her husband is not around.
Yes.
That's my mom. She didn't have everything, but she worked very hard. So women tend to work hard when they want something. What they need to see is that there is a reward at the end of the exercise. What they need to understand is how whatever it is will benefit them. And I tell you that women will give it everything they have. And that's why it's interesting to see so many women have reinvented themselves. Now, I was telling someone yesterday that, look, 50 is the new 30. A lot of the women who are 50, 55, 60 are digital immigrants. So we are beginning to see opportunities that were not there when we were younger.
True.
Now you can sit in your house, in your bedroom, and start a fashion line. I couldn't do it in my time. I would have had to get a shop or put the goods in my boot and be going around. Now I don't have to go anywhere. I don't even have to own the assets.
True.
I can just do drop shipping and sell. So the more women know about things, the more they are able to pivot and try new things. So what we need is knowledge. Once we get it, we run with it.
Okay. So how can young ladies leverage on this particular theme for this year? But before you actually ask that question, we spoke to a few women on campus. We got different views from them. So let's listen to that, please.
First of all, I think the young ladies in my school are awesome already, very confident. I haven't met one yet that isn't. However, the school has created the avenue for you to become more digital. We have Wi Fi in most places, we have innovation hubs, we have design studios. And I think it's just for you to take one step at a time and walk into those places. You'll be welcomed. So I think the young ladies have a chance in our university in particular. But across everything, I think it's a lot comes from the young ladies themselves. As I said earlier, women tend to be a little hard on themselves. We like things to be perfect before we start. So what I would advise is don't wait for all the things to be perfect. When you have the idea, start moving. and you'll find that in a short while you've achieved a lot.
I believe young women can take leverage of innovation and technology by getting themselves more in the tech space, and not just about women but about all the genders at large. For example, now women could create social apps or women could create schooling apps that would raise standards, and men would be like, okay, this is nice, we could do better. And I believe that women are also smart enough to create other apps, such as, for example, a rape app. So if a woman has been raped before and she needs to reach out to someone, she can always ping someone on the app, and the person nearest to her, the nearest rape counselor to her, can come over. Okay, let her share her story. Then, if she needs further counseling, can connect her to other counselors. So, in this, okay, we can still pair up with other women, and that's what I believe women can do.
But looking at the time we are in now, I mean, technology is taking over every space and everything that we are in. The one thing I think we can do is by catching them young, introducing it into the schools, getting them more acquainted with computer in itself, how to operate it. I mean, starting from there, the basic things, and then from there we can take it up.
For me as a person, I always tell young people, the first thing is to know what you want in your life. And then the next thing is to be confident with yourself. Once you're confident, I mean, technology is already a global language. So leveraging on it depends on you. It depends on what you really want to take out of it. But most importantly, you must also have some mentors that you can look up to, those who have already made it in the profession, those who have broken the bars. I mean, somebody looking at like to the VC, the Vice Chancellor, the first female Vice Chancellor of the university. You know that somebody like that, and her profession is not generally the one for women, but she broke the bars. So for the young women in technology, I think you need to be very confident of yourself and decide internally to break through. It's not going to be easy. Nothing is easy for anybody. But above it, you just know that you're going somewhere and that you will make it. And like the BCSO admonished, that even when you fail, get up and go again. You never should give up. So for me, that's advice.
All right, so that was actually the views from women on campus, and we just heard the vice chancellor of this university where she said we shouldn't wait for the perfect time. Things doesn't have to be perfect for us to actually, go out and take what we do want. So let me ask you, how can young ladies leverage on this year's theme?
How how can they? I think there's already a significantly high level of awareness for technology.
Okay.
What we need to do is to use technology to solve more of our problems and also have more of moonshot ideas. There's so many problems to be solved in Nigeria. We need more young women to think like children. I don't know if you watch cartoons or children's channels. They've so completely suspended disbelief. So anything is possible. So we need to think like children. That's what brings out the creative juices in us. Let's stop thinking rationally. If you want to be creative, you must suspend disbelief. So we need more people to think, how about if I just wake up and I can give any woman who wants money to do a business money? How about if I wake up and I can make sure every girl child in Nigeria has access to technology? They have the devices, they have the data. Those are the kind of dreams we need to be thinking about. How about if I sit down and I can develop something that gives everybody, wherever they are in Nigeria, access to healthcare? How about if I wake up and say I want to eradicate malaria in Nigeria? How about if I wake up and say, what can we do to make sure that all the 20 something million children that are out of school in Nigeria get back into school? We need big dreams. We need to be thinking big. Everybody shouldn't be doing makeup video, dancing. Everybody's dancing. Why? We need to be doing different things. That's what they need to do with this year's thing.
Okay, we're still going to stay on challenges. I'd like to also talk about the challenges that women are facing when it comes to tech industry and how we can address and how we can address them to, promote greater gender equality.
Okay, so part of the challenges in the tech, and I'm sure most industries, most high value industries, are the demands of long working hour, sometimes socialization outside office hours, having to sleep in the office, do so many things that demand your physical presence and your time. Working in the tech space sometimes take your life away from you, and then your life becomes work. Your colleagues, you go out to drink together, you come back, you crunch, and you're doing marathons, they are pulling all-nighters, all those things. If a woman has a family, she would pull back. If she has a serious relationship, she will pull back. And then sometimes the woman just feels like, I can't be in this kind of uncomfortable situation. And they will pull back. So those are some of the things that make women pull back from such careers. And careers in tech can be very demanding. That's why you're finding that people are asking for better working conditions, more flexibility, more balance, and more blend, because there's more to life than just work.
Sure.
I have so many friends that I can't even remember what we did together as work or business, but I can remember them as my friends. And those are some of the things that pull us back. So once some of those unnecessary demands can be stopped. Imagine you're in an office where your contract says you work 9 to 5. And then if you go home at 5, they'll be like, why are you going home at 5 o'clock? Excuse me, I finished what I want to do for the day. Do I have to hang around because everybody else is sitting in the office? So those are some of the challenges that women face. And, it just sometimes they're just like, what, do I have to cope with all this? I don't. Let me go and do something else.
Okay, so how do you think they can leverage on this technology in order to drive innovation?
So many ways. So many ways. Technology gives you efficiency. First, you have access to information. Second, you have access to new ways of doing things. You have things like digital manufacturing, you have remote working, you have artificial intelligence that just helps you with the quality of material. That's what artificial intelligence is about, really, from what I know about it. Just gives you more information in a very short period and helps you see what's possible. So yes, there's room for us to play in that space. And also, you don't have to write programs to be in technology. There's an ecosystem beyond just programming in technology space. If you're in technology, you need strategy, you need marketing, you need product development, which requires a lot of project management. So whatever skill you have, what you need to do as a woman or a young person is understand the ecosystem you want to play in. So if, for instance, you hear a lot about fintech, you don't have to be a finance person, you don't have to be a programmer. However, there's room for administration, there's room for planning, there's room for execution, there's room for customer service, there's room for stakeholder management. There are also legal issues. There are there are data protection issues. So there are so many other fields that you can play in outside of the hardcore engineering, whether it's software engineering or hardware engineering, that you can bring your talent in as a woman. So there are opportunities in that space.
Okay, let's stay on innovators. So, what funding opportunities are available to women when it comes to innovations?
It's again, there's quite a number of opportunities, and I'll be very specific with
Okay.
this. Specific, both from governments. In Lagos State, they have something called LASRIC. There's an innovation center,
Okay.
right? It's not whether it's LASIK or I can't remember. LASRIC is the residential one. I think it's LASIK. But Lagos State has an innovation center where they create opportunities for women, for young people to come and learn, to also have demo days and give access to grants from Lagos State government. You also have a lot of private sector players who are offering grants to women. There's Oxfam, there's MasterCard Foundation. We just did something with MasterCard called AgroHack. They have something for the creative industries as well that supports innovators who have very creative ideas. There are quite a number of other private foundations like Rose of Sharon. They had something recently, and they support women in STEM. And then you also have a lot of hubs, incubators and accelerators, CC hubs of this world, the seed stars of this world. You also have angel investors. I belong to one of them, Rising Tide Africa. They support women in innovation. They have pitches, they have accelerators where you can bring your ideas and get funding. So there are quite a number of those. And I also have a venture studio, Center. That's one of the businesses I run, Center Venture Studio, where we support women who are innovating in manufacturing, because there's a lot of work about the word about tech, but there's also technology in light manufacturing. It's a real industry. There are also incubators supporting people in agric. So you have the government of Netherlands, you have USAID, you also have, I'm trying to remember, Cherry Blair Foundation has something that's supporting women in tech. So what I would say to every woman is go on the internet, Google grants for young people in Nigeria, grants for young women. There's also a platform called Funds for NGOs. They have a lot of information. There's Opportunities Desk. There's Opportunities for Africa. So really, the world is a lot better. Right? If you want any information, just go to Google and you'll find loads and loads of information on opportunities for funding, for training, for partnerships, for internships.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's quite a lot of opportunities out there.
Okay, I'm very sure you're pretty familiar with the phrase, what a man can do, a woman can do better.
I don't think so anymore.
Wow. Okay.
I'm at the stage of my life where I don't see the need for that competition at all. At all.
That's nice. Well, I want to ask you, I wanted to say, in our SDG goals 5 and 9, we have gender equality and innovation. How close do you think we are in achieving that particular goal?
Gender equality and innovation, interesting, because the way I say it, I like to say the way I say it, and from what I've studied of the global goals and the targets, because every SDG has targets. For us in Africa, right, our challenges are, there are economic issues, there are some cultural issues, there are places where a woman cannot inherit anything, right? And the Supreme Court, I think, has upturned that, the inheritance laws in some parts of Nigeria. Again, really, my opinion about this woman matter, a very, very strong component of it is economic. If every woman has access to good quality education, we'll be able to make better decisions, we'll be able to take advantage of better opportunities, and we'll also be able to innovate. Innovation is different from invention. We'll be able to do things better, we'll be able to think. But if you have not eaten, you don't know where your next meal is coming from, you don't know where your rent is coming from, how can you innovate? It will be innovation for who never belly food. So there's, for us as a society, whilst the whole world is celebrating all this equality and whole thing, I think we need to take care of the basics.
Okay.
Fix our education, fix the infrastructure so that more people can afford things. How many people can afford to run their generators on petrol? With petrol at almost 300 naira per liter, sometimes 250, or diesel at 800 naira. How many people can afford it? And when it's hot, you can't think.
Sure.
So we need to fix the fundamentals. Let everybody have access to good quality education. Let us be able to operate in whatever space and thrive without harassment. Let's have better access to credit, right? Better access to financial services, more inclusion, better access to healthcare. Those fundamental things, if you don't take care of them, you see all these other English we are speaking, you're going to continue to leave a lot of people behind. People are dying because they can't afford to pay 5,000 naira for hospital bills. And we are talking about technology. No.
All right. So the University of Lagos Women's Society joined in the celebration of the International Women's Day. This was what they had to say. Take a listen.
The young ladies can level up because we are already in a digital world. And there is nothing that anybody can do without going digital. So the young ladies can brace up that there is nowhere they cannot achieve anything without being in the digital world. So they have to brace up and be able to follow up, to join the train so that they can be able to be on the top.
Well, how I believe young women can take advantage of innovation and technology. So, well, taking Unilag for example, we have a wealth of techies in Unilag. We have tech communities that, as a lady in Unilag, you can join and you can go into tech fully, start up a career. We have a lot of tracks, and we have the Unilag Wi-Fi. We have a lot of resources in Unilag tech-wise that you can use to learn. I myself, I'm a WordPress developer, so I build plugins and themes and all that. And everything I learned code-wise, I learned in Unilag. Even starting from OSA tutorials, I'm in science, so anybody can take advantage of such, and there's a lot to gain from tech, to be honest. If the world is tilting towards tech, if you are not doing tech in a way, you are backward. So I believe that women, especially the ones we have on campus here, at least look for a tech community, look for people that are vast in these things and cling to them. And I believe that that way you can take advantage of the wealth of opportunities we have in the tech industry.
There are so many ways that girls can actually take advantage, because most of the time technology seems to be like the guy's world, the men's world. But the girl child can actually take advantage of this by bringing themselves into it, believing that they can. For example, when you look at technology in terms of IT software, for example, you find that a lot of girls shy away from that area of technology. But if we can get a lot of our girls believing in themselves that they can do it, they can actually do it. And also in different other areas of technology, the first thing that they should do is that they should believe in themselves that they can, so that they can actually compete with their male counterparts. And also we have the social media and the social media space, and the girls can actually also take advantage. The girls are already taking advantage of that space, but they can do more by using that space for their own business, to be out in business.
Yes, indeed, women have come a long way in their struggle and journey to gender equality. And from all of us at Unilag TV, we say Happy International Women's Day to all you beautiful women out there. I'm Florence Okaba reporting.
All right, so you just heard it there from the University of Lagos Women's Society. Before I actually let you go, I want to actually pick your brains on what you think Embrace Equity and its goals for this year could be all about when it comes to women equality or gender equality, as the case may be.
I'm sorry, I have to laugh, right? Why do I want to be equal to a man? Some of these things, we need to interrogate them. What does it mean, really? Are we talking about creating more opportunities for women? Or I want to be equal to who? Right? Are we talking about helping more women get on the ladder? Or we are complaining that men are discriminating against us? I think we've left that place of men discriminating against us behind. More like dragging more women to come up. I think that's where we should be. And we need to change this narrative for the generation coming behind. In fact, I don't even think that generation recognizes some of these things that we are talking about. Because, I like to use my son. He asks me, Mommy, what's all this noise about women's this, women's that? You people are doing okay. He has friends. He's in a group with 5 girls. Okay. His best friends are girls. So most of our children are gender blind. So I hope we will not carry the biases of the baby boomers, people born in the 40s and 60s,
Yes.
and carry, those children don't really care. They can stand their own. They're not afraid of anything. They don't think they're limited by their gender. They want to go to the moon. They want to fly planes. They want to be fighter pilots. They are flying Dreamliners. They don't care. They don't think anybody's holding them behind. So all this talk about gender thing is what our parents struggled with, what we are struggling with, and then once passed on to our children. Those guys are not interested in all those sexist arguments. Right? So when they say equity, for me, I'd rather say let's deal with the issues that increase the stratification of society, that bring the divide in society. It's the bigger battle is the battle between the rich and the poor.
Yes.
Let's give more people economic opportunities. And when you have better economic opportunities, you can stand up for yourself anywhere. I don't see any man intimidating me, no matter who you are. I would always stand up for myself. And I know a lot of women who are like that. I know a lot of young women who are like that. I know a lot of teenagers who are bold and audacious. They don't care. So when we talk equity, we should deal with the bigger problem in society, which is the increasing gap between poverty-stricken Nigerians and the middle class. That's what we should deal with.
I think we'll have to bring you back to talk about that. All right, so thank you, Mrs. Helen, for being a part of the program. It's been a pleasure talking with you.
Thank you very much.